Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Johan and I'm a typical Dutchman, and I react to all kinds of videos about life and living in the US or life and living in Europe, specifically sometimes the Netherlands. And if you like this kind of reaction videos about life and living in Europe or the United States, then you should consider to hit the subscribe button. We're still on our way to getting to the magical 1,000 subscribers, and it's going good. We're reaching nice numbers, so I hope not too far in the future to get to the first 1,000 subscribers. And for today, we're going to take a look at a video from Joe Hutchinson about the pros and cons of Obamacare. And I was thinking about this video because I do a lot of videos about life living in Europe or life living in America. And a lot of complaints that Americans give about leaving America or want to be in Europe is because of the high cost of healthcare. And sometimes I see in the comments that other Americans react as in, yeah, but they always have the solution or the option to do something with healthcare like the Obamacare or the Act, yeah. Obamacare, ACA, yeah, ACA and the marketplace healthcare insurance. And I do not know. I don't know what exactly means Obamacare or the Healthcare Act. So this video, it's maybe more for me than for you, but I want to know what is the Obamacare and how much does it compare with the healthcare that we have over here in the Netherlands. That's what I know more about, or in Europe in general. So I'm really curious about if the Obamacare Act is really a solution for a lot of people complaining about the healthcare costs in the United States. So let's take a look at it.
What are the pros and cons of the Affordable Care Act? If you are looking at health insurance and you've thought about looking at a policy on the marketplace through the Affordable Care Act, but you don't really know what it is or how it all works, let's talk about it. That's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. Side note, if you are doing some kind of term paper on the Affordable Care Act and health policy, this is not the video for you. So you may want to check out some other videos on the side and try to get more
Obamacare for dummies? Okay, maybe. If this isn't clear enough to me, I can do that one too.
Information for your term paper that way. This is much more going to apply to people that are actually looking for health coverage. Hi, my name is Joe Hutchison, and I am an independent health and Medicare advisor with Founders Life and Health. We are based here in beautiful St. Louis, Missouri, but we help people all over the country, and our services are free of charge to you. Today, we are going to be talking about the Affordable Care Act. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of it, and at the end, I'm going to share a couple hints on how you can save a little bit of money if you're looking at an ACA plan. So let's start with some jargon clarification. ACA, what is that? It stands for Affordable Care Act, but it is the same thing as Obamacare. It's the same thing as the marketplace policy.
The marketplace is new to me. ACA I did hear of, Obamacare Act I did hear of, but the marketplace I did not know.
So you'll hear people kind of interchangeably, is that a word? Use those words, and some people think that they don't have Obamacare when they actually do because they have an ACA plan or vice versa. So it's all the same thing. So what is ACA coverage? It's basically a platform that is run by the government to help subsidize people that are looking for affordable health insurance that maybe either don't have coverage at all, don't have group coverage, or are looking for some kind of affordable options. And here's something really important. What it is not is government-run healthcare.
ACA is not government-run healthcare, so it's still some kind of a private Yeah,
Healthcare
okay.
plans are not run by the government. They are subsidized by the government, but they are
Okay.
actually run by private insurance companies, what they call carriers. So
Yeah, that's over here in the Netherlands the same. The government does not run the healthcare, but subsidize healthcare for people who cannot afford the real healthcare premiums. Only the premiums. Yeah.
small all the way up to large companies can hold ACA policies and provide you your healthcare coverage, but the subsidies to offset the cost come from the government. It's not government-run healthcare. So let's get right to it. What are the pros of an ACA plan? Well, pro number one, and this is by far the biggest, is that an ACA plan is going to cover pre-existing conditions. So if you have a chronic condition, if you have diabetes, if you've had a heart attack, even if it's something all the way down to just having asthma, an ACA plan is going to cover all of those things. So all of your pre-existing conditions will be taken care of by a doctor. Another piece of that regarding pre-existing conditions is that you cannot be denied coverage because of a pre-existing condition, but also they can't basically kick you off of your policy because a condition that you have is costing them too much money.
That's the same over here. But pre-existing conditions, no matter what kind of healthcare insurance you're going to take, you can never be denied because of your age or because of pre-existing conditions of your healthcare. So that's no matter where, everywhere in the Netherlands, and I will hopefully, and if other people from Germany or any other countries of Europe react to, it's the same. You cannot be denied healthcare because of your age or because of pre-existing conditions. Yeah.
Have to provide you coverage. Pro number two for an ACA plan is that an ACA plan is going to cover things like mental health services and addiction services. So I have several clients that struggle with anxiety and depression. It's very common. And on any other plan, if you have a short-term medical plan or some of these other kind of like private outside of ACA policies, they're not going to cover mental health services. So this will include that. If that's something that you really need or something that's important to you, I would encourage you to look at an ACA plan first.
Same over here.
Pro number three for looking at an ACA policy is that your prescriptions are also going to be included in that plan. You don't have to get additional coverage outside of your policy for prescriptions. I think a lot of times what happens, especially with some of the short-term medical plans, if they don't cover prescriptions, is that you basically just get like a discount card where you can go to your pharmacy and just get a discount. But this is going to be comprehensive prescription coverage so that no matter what type of prescription that you're on, you will have coverage for that.
Okay, that's also the same over here. No new stuff, except that it's not like in the US part of the ACA, but part of every healthcare plan that you have over here in the Netherlands. And I would dare to say in every healthcare that you have over here in Europe, it's all the same.
A couple other real quick pros to an ACA plan is that if you are a dependent, you can be covered under your family's plan until you're 26. And then at that point, you can go and get your own plan. But you have all the way until the end of your 25th year to be covered on your family's plan.
Yeah, that's over here until the age of 18. Or if you're still living with your parents, it's still part of. But I believe the maximum age is 18. And then you have to get your own insurance.
Also, preventative care is covered with no copay. So just going to see the doctor and doing all the preventative services, there's going to be no copay for those services. Also, like I said, coverage cannot be dropped because you're sick, and there are no annual limits on your care. So it used to be that once you hit a max, say it was $1 million or so, then the insurance company was not going to cover you anymore. That's no longer the case. Okay, what are the cons of an ACA plan? Well, con number
Sounds so strange to me. A con artist. So what are the cons?
One, honestly, is just that the marketplace can be very confusing and overwhelming for people trying to enroll. If you don't speak health insurance and you don't exactly know how all of the deductibles and copays and coinsurance and how all of that works, sometimes you can get hit with a nasty surprise. And I know a lot of people, just when they're on the marketplace trying to shop for a policy, they get overwhelmed. There's a lot of information. You don't really know what any of it means or how it's going to affect you. So it can be cumbersome, and it can cause a lot of people to just give up. Best way, honestly, to work through that is to work with a healthcare advisor like myself or somebody in your area, or really anybody that you feel comfortable with. Our services, again, are free to you. So we can help you work through the marketplace, look at what all the plans are, how it's going to affect you, how it's going to cost you, the coverages that it's going to bring you, and we can help decode a lot of that.
Yeah. We don't have copay, or we do have a max pay out of pocket pay. That's what you can do for your own, because I have an out of pocket pay for non-medical issues that are not in the primary coverage, because we have a primary coverage that's whatever happens in the primary coverage, it's covered. You don't need to worry about that. But there's also a secondary coverage. And what happens in your secondary coverage, you can determine, well, if I don't need this, I don't need physical therapy at all, or I'm not visiting the doctor because I have a lot of, because I'm never sick, for example, then you can say, well, I have an out of pocket for 500 instead of the regular 350. And when you hit the so when you choose for 500 instead of 350, then your monthly pay, your monthly insurance costs are going down. So in the end, you pay less per year because you choose for a higher out of pocket. And if you calculate it and you can say, well, my out of pocket is like I have 500, and it saves about 30 euros every year. Now, 12 times 30, yeah, the risk is good. I take it. But that's the only thing. Everything else is always covered everywhere. So yeah, out of pocket. And then copay, we don't have copay. You have your out of pocket maximum, and that's it.
Number two on an Obamacare plan is really going to be if you are a higher earner, the subsidies might not be available for you. So if you make more than 400% of the federal poverty level, and that changes every single year, then you might not have subsidies available to you. Now in this market, I would still say take a look at it, because in the last year, because of COVID, a lot of things have changed. So there probably may still be some subsidies for you. And if you do need some help looking through that, you can talk to a healthcare advisor to have you work through that. But con number two is it might not be affordable if you are a higher earner.
Yeah, okay. That's being subsidized by the government over here in the Netherlands is only when you have not enough income. So it depends on what your annual tax income is. And based on that, you can ask for being subsidized for your monthly cost of healthcare. That's totally independent of which healthcare plan you take. If you, which company, and we have a lot of companies who private companies who offer healthcare insurance. No matter which company you choose, if you're not have enough money to pay for your healthcare, then you are subsidized by the government. And that also depends on what kind of income you have. So that's totally independent if you get subsidized or not. And as I understand, it's in the ACA, it's part of the ACA, and that's not over here. No, not.
Con number three to an ACA plan is just really when you can enroll. So open enrollment for a ACA plan is going to be between November 1st and December 15th, which is a pretty short window.
No, not at all. Not at all. Every day, all day, every year. Doesn't matter.
So if you don't have coverage currently, or if you are on an ACA plan but you want to switch to another one, you have to wait until that window of time to be able to do it. Unless, and believe me, in health insurance, there is always an unless you have a qualifying life event, then you can actually enroll in an ACA policy outside of that window of time. So what is a qualifying life event? Well, there are four kind of main ones. One is if you lose your coverage. If you lose a job, if you had creditable coverage and you've lost it, that is a qualifying life event. They will allow you to shop for a plan. The next one is called change in household. So basically that's if you get married, if you get divorced, if there's a death in the family, if you have a baby, that would qualify as a qualifying life event as well. Another would be a change in residence. And really that just means if you're moving and you're moving out of the zip code that you're in into a different zip code. And the reason that is because different plans are available in different zip codes. So they have to kind of do that blanket wide. Even if I'm moving just to the zip code next door to me, it's still a qualifying life event. So if any kind of move into a different zip code is going to allow you to shop for a new plan. There are a couple other things that can happen, things like just losing your income. You maybe didn't lose your job, but your income went down by half. Or being released from incarceration. Those types of things are also qualifying life events, and you can shop a policy. As promised, I have.
Okay, yeah, like I said, it's not it's not applied to over here in the Netherlands or in Europe in general. You can ask for or apply for healthcare insurance subsidy any time of the year. Doesn't matter. If you're living in this zip code or living in another zip code, if you're here in the Netherlands or somewhere out there in Germany, it doesn't matter. You can always apply for.
3 helpful hints as well on how to save a little bit of money on your ACA plan if that's what you're shopping. Helpful hint number 1 is to look at a higher deductible plan. Your monthly premium is going to be a whole lot lower. So if you're shopping a plan that maybe has an $8,000 or a $9,000 a month deductible annually.
What? Okay. Yes.
But then what you can do with some of that savings is get yourself an accident plan. So what an accident plan is going to do is it's going to be a much smaller monthly payment, and it will cover that deductible. So say you have a $9,000 deductible, which is pretty high, and you get in a car accident, God forbid.
Yeah, I still the numbers. $9,000 deductible.
That accident plan is going to cut you a check for the amount of the deductible, and that way it's covered. So it's not going to be something where you can kind of chip away at the deductible through the accident plan. It's going to be there just in case the worst thing happens, but you will have that extra piece of coverage so that you're not going to be in a pickle if you get yourself in an accident. Helpful hint number 2 on how to save a little bit of money on an ACA plan. The ACA plans are divided into metal categories. Bronze is the lowest, usually the least expensive on a monthly basis with the higher deductibles. Then there are silver plans, and then there are gold plans, which are obviously going to be lowest deductible, also highest premium. So, but there are also what they call catastrophic plans. So if you qualify for a catastrophic plan, it's going to be even cheaper than
a catastrophic plan? Okay.
A bronze plan. It's basically going to be bare bones coverage that's going to protect you in case of worst case scenarios. So there aren't going to be a lot of bells and whistles. You're not going to be able to go see your doctor for, like a $5 copay or anything like that. But the option is there that is a little bit under what a bronze policy would be. So when you're shopping those plans, make sure you look at that as well. Helpful hint number 3 is that not everybody knows this, but medical bills can be negotiated. So sometimes it's easy.
You can do what? Okay.
Is to negotiate that before you're going to have a procedure, but it can also happen after you have a procedure. If you get a big bill for something that you had to have done, you had to have surgery, or there was maybe a trip to the emergency room and you got a big bill for it, those can be negotiated. So keep that in mind. Not everybody knows that. Sometimes people get the bill, they just think it is what it is, but a lot of times they can negotiate that cost down. Hopefully that helps. Thank you so much for watching. And if you have more questions, as always, feel free to reach out.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not even close to what has been offered over here in Europe. It's not free. A lot of videos and comments that I see in videos about free healthcare in Europe, it's not. We don't have free healthcare. But that's why I was looking at this. It's more affordable healthcare than it is in the United States. And then I hear about how people say, well, yeah, they can also use the Affordable Care Act, the ACA. Now I heard about the ACA. It's not. It's not even close. There are a lot of things that are more affordable and paid for over here in Europe in general than it is in the United States. So I can say safely that I understand that a lot of Americans think I'm going to leave the United States because it's way too expensive with the healthcare. I really can understand it, and especially if there are all kinds of blah, blah, blah. If there are all kinds of rules to get into the ACA, yeah. So I understand that a lot of people still leaving the US because of the cost of healthcare and did not be entered to the ACA. It's not comparable with what you have over here in the Netherlands or in Europe in general. If you like the content, then please hit the like button. And if you want to see more of my content, then this is a good place to start with. And otherwise, it would be really appreciated if you hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.